Welcome. Welcome, people, back to another episode of Elephant in the Room. This week, we are at episode number 20. We are officially in our 20s. As I do every week, before I go any further, I want to give you guys a shout out, everybody out there that has been supporting me and continuing to do so throughout this learning experience that I am experiencing in real time with this platform. I want to, let everybody know that I am searching, that I am studying, I am doing massive research on things that I can get better at pertaining to this platform. And I, even still to this day, like right now, I've made changes to this platform that you may not notice yet, or you may not notice at all, but small little details that matter, you know what I mean, that I've made to this platform. And, I just want to let you guys know, as I sit up here and I talk to you every week and I give my opinion on things that happen every week, I want to let you guys know that I am also doing the work, doing the research, trying to get better, trying to give you guys a better show. You know what I mean? So, like I said, the more I do this, the more I get better at it. But again, people, I want to thank everybody out there that has been supporting me throughout this journey and continuing to do so. For those of you here for the first time, I would like to welcome you. Again, Elephant in the Room, where we touch on the most talked about topics of the week. Not so much viral, because a lot of times, as I touched on in my earlier episodes, a lot of times people do things for viral reasons. People try to get in the news by just doing and saying anything. Those type of individuals I choose wisely not to talk about. So, this show is just basically pertaining to the things that are close to me, to the things that I find is important or interesting in most people's eyes. You know what I mean? So I take those topics and, I talk about them each and every week. That is the point of this platform. That is the point of this show. So for all you first time listeners out there, welcome you guys. Before we get into our topics of this week, I want to give you guys a heads up that my latest project, Gold Tape, is currently out right now, available everywhere music is sold, everywhere music can be heard, all across all DSPs. Please go check it out. When you're done, go checking that out. Go check out my project before that, which is Scale Tape. And when you get done with that, go check out my debut album, my very first album. This one's for you, Dad. All three of them are classics. I stand on all three of my projects, and I'm willing to put them up against anybody. You know what I mean? So, please go check that out, people. I'm trying to do about 10, 11 different things at once. So just help me out and support me on all those things, people. I promise you it would not be a waste of your time. Without further ado, we're going to get right into the topics of the week. First topic we got is basically piggybacking off the previous 2 weeks that we have been talking about this particular topic for quite some time now. Shannon Sharpe. Currently, this past week, he has an ex-girlfriend that has came forward and accusing him of rape. An ex-girlfriend, I guess he was with from, I guess, for about 10 to 12 years. I guess they met in the Broncos locker room, the Denver Broncos. That is an NFL team. The NFL team he made his mark on. The NFL team that he was with when he was en route to shaping his Hall of Fame career. So I guess she was like a local reporter for them, and I guess they had some type of romantic dealings, if you let her tell it. Again, all of this is alleged. I don't know if this is true. I don't know. But she has now came forward and accusing him of rape. Piggybacking off the now 20-year-old, but then 19-year-old when they first met, of saying he raped her as well. You know what I mean? So that's the latest. That's the most talked about topic of the week. Man, like I said in passing, man. Until the facts come out, that's just too much to put on a man. And then especially when you see this shit time and time and time and time and time again. Like, come on. Come on. And like I said, I'm a be as honest as I could be with you. Again, this is not a politically correct show. I am just going to be as honest as I possibly can be with you. I don't. It's just hard to believe that this many successful black men are just out here taking sex from women and men in some cases. It's just hard to believe. It's just hard to believe. Shannon Sharpe has been in the realm of public consumption for quite some time now. And he's always been squeaky clean. And now all of a sudden, in the span of a month, he's being accused of all of this shit. Again, I don't want to trigger anybody who was previously, that may be watching the show. I don't want to trigger any of y'all. Some of y'all might be victims of sexual abuse or rape or physical abuse. You know what I mean? I don't want to trigger y'all, but this shit I think it's bullshit. I'm not going to lie to you. I am not going to lie to you. Now with the 20-year-old girl, her in her case, she's trying to basically say like, hey, I guess it was one time he wanted to do anal sex and she didn't. They've done it before, but this particular time she told him no. And I guess he did it anyway. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, do me no. Do not get me wrong. But it's like, man, rape. This sexual interaction is consensual. But I'm guessing, if we are to believe what that young lady says, and she didn't want to do anal this time, no matter how many times they did it before, you have to, no means no. You know what I mean? And what you do. It's just, like I said, it's one of them technicalities where it's like, you don't even know what to say about it because technically it's right. But I got you in this bed naked and we having sexual relations. And like, again, I don't know, that it just seemed really, and if I'm a little stuttering on this subject, I want to be correct in this, because by no means am I trying to say just because you agreed to having sex, that don't mean I should be able to do whatever I want with you. No, it don't mean that. But, if you guys did it before and you said no this time, yes, that's a disagreement. Yes, that is a cause for, I'm not fucking with you no more because I told you I didn't want to do it and you did it anyway. But rape, it's kind of crazy. But that's like that's the case of the 20-year-old, then 19. This ex-girlfriend, it's new. So just the allegation came out. She said he would be, physically abusive to her, emotionally abusive to her. He threatened to ruin her life. if she ever came out. Again, that's a lot to put on a man. So until I hear or see further proof, I'm going to preserve my judgment for, a later date with that. You know what I mean? But it just seems like clockwork. Well, it don't seem like clockwork. It is clockwork where one accuser comes forward, the next one, you know, comes right behind that person rapidly. They also, based and off the backs of Shannon Sharpe's accused allegations, plenty of old clips are coming forward of him doing the electric slide fucked up, him being flirtatious at a event in LA with a fan, him being on his platform Nightcap and snapping at somebody off the camera. Just a whole bunch of clips is coming out. I'm not sure what these clips are supposed to be doing, but just because he told somebody to shut the fuck up off camera, it doesn't make him guilty. Excuse me. It doesn't make him guilty of rape. It doesn't. Like, just because he's over here doing the electric slide fucked up, and it was fucked up, that don't mean anything. It's just, I don't know. But Shannon Sharpe is absolutely going through the ringer right now. They was also getting on his ass about an old clip came out about his daughter was getting married, and his co-host of Nightcap, who was Chad Ochocinco, also an ex-football player. He was like, "You not paying for the wedding, no?" And he's like, "No, I'm not paying for the wedding." And then it just became a question of, well, if you were paying for the wedding, how much would you, like, what would be her limit? And he was like, "I got 30,000 for you. I got 30,000 for you." And so people were criticizing him because, oh, you only got 30,000 for your daughter's wedding, but you got 10 million to give away to this white girl. Right? And it's like, how dumb could you be? Like, yeah, this white girl potentially has the information or the wherewithal to potentially fuck up hundreds of millions of dollars for this man, as you see right now. That's why he has 10 million for this woman and only had 30,000 for his daughter. Before we go any further in that, stop telling people how to spend their fucking money. Stop. It's not your money. No, you can't. You don't have to. You didn't do nothing in life. Me included. We haven't done nothing in life to be able to think we can tell someone else who we don't know how to spend their money. Now, if it's somebody that you know they value your opinion, then yeah, you can give them pointers. Yo, instead of doing this, why don't you do that? I'm not saying that, but to think you about to tell a stranger how to spend their money is just, the nerve of you. Like, how could you even do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how could you even? So, like I said, man, Shannon Sharpe, he's just going through the ringer right now. Again, with that 19, 20-year-old girl, yeah, he was definitely involved with her. They definitely had sexual relations multiple times. I mean, we know that. I mean, he's even admitted to that. You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of, do he know this girl or has he ever had sex with her? It's like, was it consensual? And in this young lady's case, it was consensual, except for that time you wanted to do anal and I didn't. You know what I mean? So then it was like, Now Shannon Sharpe in trouble for that. You know what I mean? Potentially. So, like I said, for people out there who, you got 30,000 for your daughter, but you only got 30,000 for your daughter, but you got 10 million for this white girl. It's like, yo, mind your business, man. Like that ain't even a comparable comparison or parallel. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? He's trying to get somebody off of his back who can potentially fuck up millions of dollars for him. And for everybody out there who, he offered her money, he must be guilty. He tried to plead out, he must be guilty. That isn't true. That isn't true. And again, I'm going to go to me personally. A young lady accused me of harassment. At the time, I got the citation to come to court. I didn't say a word to this young lady for 3 years. People, I'm talking about a syllable. I didn't say a syllable to this woman in 3 years. So when I get the citation to come to court, with me, I've never been in trouble before. The only court I ever been in prior to this one was a traffic ticket. So I'm thinking, you know how traffic tickets is. The officer is on this panel. I'm on this panel. He say his version. I say my version. The judge make the ruling. So I'm thinking this court proceeding is going to be just like that one. Boy, was I mistaken. You don't even get a chance to speak in those courtrooms. So now when I go up there and it's like, I see how this thing works. And it's like, okay, well, you're going to come back to court in 3 weeks at 9. But as people who go to court probably know, everybody in the fucking city got court at 9 o'clock. So it says 9 on your paper. They may not get to you to 1 o'clock in the evening. Then you go back down there. Then they appoint you to come back and then come back and then come back. After a while, you just like, yo, I don't want to come down here anymore. What do I have to do to not come down here anymore? Well, plead to this. But you got to admit guilt. Plead to this. Yeah, you'll have a no offensive contact order, which is different from a stay away order of protection. A no offensive contact order that's in many ways worse than a stay away order of protection. The stay away order of protection is self-explanatory. You stay away. But a no offensive order of protection is you can be around the person, you can talk to the person, you can live with the person. But if you do anything they deem offensive, you're in violation of that. So you can say, girl, you crazy. Oh my God, he called me crazy. And if they deem it offensive, you in trouble. But this conversation not about that. That's another conversation for another day. The point of me bringing this up is I didn't want to deal with that, keep coming back to court. So I pleaded to a no offensive contact order. It's like, I don't talk to this girl anyway. So it would be impossible for me to be offensive to her. I don't talk to her. And so it's like, but while you're pleading and taking this plea, you have to admit guilt. And it's like, that's fucked up. But, the point of me bringing up that story is like, you don't, just because you plead to something, it doesn't make you automatically guilty. You just, like I said, in Shannon Sharpe's case, I'm going to offer you 10 million because I have $100 million deal on this table right now that if you come out with this bullshit ass story or this real story, whichever one it may be, either one can potentially fuck my millions up. So, go and take this 10 and get the fuck out my face. That is what it could have been. You know what I mean? Or it could have been another thing. I really did do this shit to you. I don't want to get it. I don't want it getting out. Take this 10 million. Only time will tell. You know what I mean? And that's why I express constantly of I need to see proof. I need to read proof. I just need some type of proof to come out. You know what I mean? Because he say versus she say in 2025, you can't do that anymore. Just on the simple strength of it is okay to lie. It is more acceptable. Like, forget acceptable. It's like the thing to do is lie out here right now. Lie on everything and everybody you can come in contact with. If it'll get you views, it'll get you likes, it'll get you shares and retweets and reposts, do that shit. You know what I mean? And like in terms of, you know what I mean? Somebody else who was in hot water this week was, Charlemagne the God, when, people were trying to because when Charlemagne the God, that's, again, that's a co-host on the very, very, very successful show Breakfast Club in New York City in the tri-state area. When all of this is breaking out about Shannon Sharpe, Charlemagne the God was very critical of Shannon Sharpe. So people called themselves calling him out because they're like, oh, you hired on Shannon, but you didn't have this type of energy for Jay-Z. You see how every subject that goes on in our community, Jay-Z name pops up. When people was mad about Lil Wayne not performing at the Super Bowl, who fault was it? Jay-Z's fault. When people was, Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl, his Super Bowl performance was whack. Who took blame for that? Jay-Z. Oh, why would you even let him perform at the Super Bowl and he only had a hot year because of a diss song? Now, we talking about Shannon Sharpe and somehow, some way Jay-Z name comes up in this. But fuck it, we here. People were criticizing Charlemagne the God for that. Like, yo, man, what's going on? You only doing that because you know Jay-Z or you work for him or you signed to him or whatever. Dog. In Shannon Sharpe's case, I just touched on it with this young lady. He knows her. He's had multiple sexual encounters with this young woman. Jay-Z doesn't have a fucking clue who this girl is. Notice the first day that this Shannon Sharpe story came out, he knew exactly who she was. And the words he used were consensual. I know I said words meaning plural, meaning more than one word, but it means consensual. Jay-Z still to this day is trying to figure out who this girl is, who this Jane Doe is. To this day, he still don't know who she is. So, and what did I tell y'all before about this keep the same energy shit? No. Because some people, some situations do not deserve the same energy as others. Shannon Sharpe knows who this young lady is. Jay-Z don't. That alone is different. Shannon Sharpe has had multiple interactions with this young lady. Phone calls, sexual encounters, dates, everything. This Jay-Z don't know who this girl is or was. So it's like that alone, this is fucking different. How are you trying to criticize Charlemagne the God for that? Oh, you got to keep the same. And no, I do not. I don't. Excuse me. I don't. So, it's just like, man, like, what are y'all talking about, man? What the hell are y'all talking about? So it's like, man, get off that man back. Let shit play out. And then we make our assumptions. I know we want to be the first to say shit, the first to be right about shit. But a lot of times when we the first to be wrong about shit, we don't even like to acknowledge it. So like I said, something I like to do is wait for the facts to come out. I'll tell you how I feel. That's why I said I think this is bullshit. The the 19 the you know the relationship he had with the 19-20-year-old, like I said, I don't think he raped her at all. You know what I mean? He's getting more flack about the age difference than the actual allegation of him raping her. You know what I mean? He's getting more flack for the age difference and the race of the woman who it is. And it's like, well, that's a different story. You know what I mean? You can disagree all you want with the age difference or the race, but just because you disagree with it doesn't make it illegal. You know what I mean? Like I told you guys on plenty of occasions, I don't have a problem. If y'all two motherfuckers are grown, have at it. I don't look at 19-year-olds as kids. I don't. If a 19-year-old boy get in my face, I'm liable to punch him in his mouth. I don't care what my age difference is. You know what I mean? If a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old is disrespectful to that point, I feel the need to exude that type of energy on that person. That's just what I'm going to do. If you want to talk grown, I'm going to treat you grown. Now in my case, I can't imagine dealing with a 19-year-old like romantically. Hell no. I mean, first and foremost, I'm in a committed relationship now, but like, even if I was single, like I wouldn't find that attractive. But that's me. Just because I wouldn't find, how many chicks is walking around here who I think is god awful ugly, but they in a relationship. So like, okay, just because I think you look away, it don't mean that everybody else has to agree with me to the point that if you don't, you're breaking the law and you need to be canceled and you need to go to prison and you need to lose money. No, it's just my opinion. You know what I mean? So, like I said, man, but that falls under the realm of, a lot of us thinking our opinion is more important than it actually is. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, until we have more facts on the case, you know what I mean? And again, this is a civil suit. This ain't a case where he can potentially go to jail or whatever like that to the third, which I touched on again last week. What happened to pursuing criminal charges? Why everything is just money and none of us see through this? I could see if you pursuing criminal charges, then after you pursue criminal charges, you pursue, lawsuits and things of that nature. I can see that, but nah, fuck that. I don't want them to go to jail. I just want them to give me money. And that shit don't look fishy to none of you. Okay. With that being said, we're gonna stick on sports. The Philadelphia Eagles visited the White House. With the current president in office right now, that became a big thing in the news. The Philadelphia Eagles, who are predominantly a black team with a black quarterback, visited the White House, all except for, I think, about 6 players. And like out of the 6 players, 4 of them were noticeable. Jalen Hurts, big shout out to him. You just made me a fan of you. AJ Brown, the other kid, the fast kid, Smith, number 6, and somebody else didn't go. Big shouts out to all 6 of those gentlemen. You guys exude, excellence in that decision making. That is a place that I don't think that we need to be at, because us as black people, that represents a certain ilk. And for everybody who may watch this show who find yourself voted for Trump, you may be white, things of that nature. You know, already know if I got love for you, I got love for you. But I'm talking about pertaining to us. Pertaining to black people, we have no business being on any side of that fence at all. This is not a political show. I'm going to keep it there. But I want to give a big shout out to the individuals that did not go to that White House. I want to give a big shout out to them. You know what I mean? So, and the rest of the Philadelphia Eagles, they earned the right to go. You know, they won the Super Bowl. Really excellent team. And they made the decision they choose to make. A noticeable name that did go to the White House was Saquon Barkley. You know, he's a phenomenal running back. He used to play for the New York Jets. Now he plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. And in his first year of playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, won the Super Bowl, and he made major contributions to that goal that they reached. Without him, I don't believe they would have made it. But he caught some flack because he was seen like hanging one-on-one with the president. In my opinion, bad move. Again, this is not a political show, so I don't want to deep dive into that. But again, you as a black man you have no place on that side of the fence you was just on. You know what I mean? So, you know, now you know what comes with that. You're going to get limited support from the black community. But again, we so flaky. The second next season comes up and he scores 10 touchdowns in the span of 5 games, he gonna be the next best thing since Martin Luther King and sliced bread. So, you know, it is what it is. But just wanted to touch on that. You know, like I said, I'm not a political person. I just, again, I think the current president that's in office right now is a complete asshole. And we're going to touch on him. We're going to touch on that a little later in the show. We're going to touch on that a little later in the show. Again, I am not a political podcast at all. This is not a political platform by any means of the imagination. But with that being said, switch subjects real quick to hip hop. We just had a debate with Mal from the Rory and Mal show and DJ Head, who is more, think he's like more of a household name on the West Coast. But very talented DJ. Been around for a while. And, the main topic, the only topic they were discussing was Kendrick and Drake. Mal is, it seems to be he's really good friends with Drake. And DJ Head is, he has close ties to Kendrick. And he had DJ the Pop Out show that took place last year. So in their debate, they represented their respective parties, and why this person may have won this battle or that person may have won this battle. Look, I'm not going to continue to be the dead horse. It was a dope debate. For anyone who is interested in that, you could go check it out on the Rory and Mal podcast. Incredible podcast. I am fans of both gentlemen, and it was interesting to watch. It was, you know what I mean? But me, like I said, I'm not gonna be the dead horse. I believe Kendrick ran a Boston on Drake. Just ran a Boston on him. But again, at the same time, I do believe, that was probably the greatest rap beef in history, just on where both gentlemen are at in their careers, the bars, the songs we got from them, the timing of it, like they was coming out with songs back to back to back to back, you know what I mean? So just based on all of that, that was probably the best battle ever. You know what I mean? And we all know how I feel about Drake suing and shit like that. That is the softest shit in hip hop. Next to he he topped J. Cole apologizing. Yeah, like that is the most softest shit you can ever do in hip hop, period, is suing because of a rap beef. Yeah, so y'all already know how I feel about that. I am not about to continue to be the dead horse. Again, DJ Head, Maul, due to the simple fact of the relationships they have with both gentlemen, that made it interesting into watching it. So anybody who's interested in that, you could go check it out on the Rory and Maul podcast, which is available on YouTube. I believe Patreon too, but I'm not sure. So, just wanted to get that out the way. Circling back onto, keeping it football here and there. Bill Belichick had a recent interview where he was supposed to be talking about his book. I believe he has a book either out or coming out. And, so when you have a book, it's like releasing the album, right? Like you gotta, do your rounds. You gotta go interview here. You gotta, be present there. You gotta. So in the midst of that, I think he had an interview with CBS. And the interviewer, instead of asking about the book, he decided to ask about his relationship with the young woman who was actually on the scene at the time of these questions. So, it was kind of like cringy, not cringy, but just, it was weird just because, they were trying to get the answers to questions that he definitely didn't want to ask. Like, where did you guys meet? A lot of people take issue with your age difference. How do you feel about that? And we all know, Bill Belichick is, he's private. He's super private, and he's been super private. And if it wasn't for this book coming out, he wouldn't even been in front of that camera. So when this guy tried to ask the question, the young lady, Bill Belichick's significant other, had intervened and said, "We're not talking about that." So it became a very weird interview. I took no issue with the young woman, like saying like, "Yo, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about his book. His book is pertaining to football." I haven't read it, but that's the word around town is, it's pertaining to his life with football, not his personal life. You know what I mean? So, but again, a lot of people take issue with Bill Belichick and the age difference. And again, I don't have that same energy towards Shannon Sharpe. Listen, Shannon Sharpe is accused of rape. Bill Belichick has a 25-year-old girlfriend that you don't like. It's a difference. It's a difference. And a very big one. A very big difference. Like, it is not the same. I don't have to keep the same energy. And I'm on the side with Shannon Sharpe, like I just told y'all. I'm preserving judgment until more facts come out. Me personally, I don't believe that shit. But who knows? I could be 1,000% wrong. But for those of you who are dogging Shannon Sharpe and not so much talking about Bill Belichick, it's like, oh, yeah, so the white man can do it and the black man can't. Like, no, listen. Shannon Sharpe is accused of rape. He's accused of physical abuse. Bill Belichick is not accused of none of that shit. He has a girlfriend who he is damn near 60 years older than. No, 50 years older than. And you don't like it. With all due respect to everybody out there, who gives a shit what you like in terms of my life? If I want to decide to do this, I'm going to do that. As long as it's legal, as long as I'm not hurting nobody, I'm not finessing anybody out of no money or opportunity or whatever. Like, who gives a shit what you think? It does not matter. I told y'all where I lay on the side of this. Like, listen, man, I don't got a problem with that age gap shit. That motherfucker be 100 fucking a 25-year-old. They grown. Let them grown motherfuckers do them. And the fuck am I to be judging you and how you should be living? You know what I mean? Which is a perfect segue into something I wanted to touch on. Because again, you know, a lot of people are continuing to talk about Shedeur Sanders and how unfair he got treated with the draft and everything like that. Listen, man. Listen, guys. Listen. I love my black people. I am as pro-black as you can get. But with that being said, we got to stop this whining shit. We got to stop it. Now, me personally, no, I don't believe Shedeur Sanders is that good to the point you were surprised that he didn't go in the first round. I thought he was a second to third rounder. I'm not going to say from the jump, because coming into the draft, you had two idiotic franchises in the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets that has consistently made fucked up picks. So once he got past those two teams, it was like maybe he could go to 21 with the Steelers. But once he got past the Steelers, which has a black coach and who knows Deion very well, once he got past them, it was like, oh shit. This thing of, you know, him rubbing people wrong in his interviews that he had at the combine may be a real thing. But I wasn't surprised at all he got picked in the second, or he dropped out of the first round. So a lot of people was making him out to be a victim. Oh my God, they cheated that man out of $40 million. No, he cheated himself. He cheated himself. You can't pop shit and cry. You can't be cocky and be bitching and moaning at the same time. You cannot do it, y'all. You cannot do it. When you cocky, when you exude cockiness and arrogance, that comes with shit. And I had a discussion with my homeboy. You know, we had an in-depth discussion about it. And it's like, you know, my man was like, well, what did he ever do that was cocky? I ain't never seen nothing that was cocky. I said, bro, what in the hell is putting on a Audemars watch right after the game and doing this to the crowd? Doing this to the crowd. What is that? If that ain't cocky, what is that? And keep in mind, you black. So it's a very thin line between confidence and cockiness. Very, very thin line. You know what I mean? Very thin line. You can be humble and confident and somebody could mistake you for being cocky. But like I said, when you have to play the game. And what I mean by playing the game, I'm not telling you to kiss ass, because me as a grown man, me as a young man, me as a child, I ain't never kissed no ass. So I'm not going to sit up here and instruct you to do so. But I mean, my nigga, play the game a little bit. Shut the fuck up sometimes. Carry yourself a certain way for these 2 months that these motherfuckers is analyzing every fucking little thing about you, which, by the way, they do to everybody, not just him. Right? Play the game for a minute. Just play the game for a minute. And everybody out there that's, when Eli do it, when Johnny Manziel do it, it's fine. When Eli do it, they can, his father can say, if this team draft me, I'm not playing. They can do that, and that's fine. Bingo. Bingo. I'm glad you know that now. You're 1,000% right. I have no rebuttal. For everybody out there who that's their take on that, you're 1,000% right. Period. I have no rebuttal to that. Now, with that being said, let me ask you 2 questions. and I want you to be honest. How long have you known that? How long have you known white people can do shit that black people can't dream of doing? How long have you known that? You've known that for at least your entire adult life. So with that being said, it leads me to my next question. At what point are you going to stop being surprised by that shit happening? At what point are we going to stop being surprised at that? At what point are we going to take what we know and apply it to how we move out here in this fucking world? Because I'm going to tell you something, Nick. I'm going to tell you something. I can leave this platform right now, go outside, get in my car and drive down the street and get pulled over by a cop. I don't care how many YouTube videos I done seen of a white man being irate with a cop, not rolling down his window, arguing with him face to face to the point he's spitting in his face. I seen one clip, a dude was chasing the cop around a car. I don't give a damn how many of those videos I watched. I'm not about to try this shit right now. Hell no. I'm going, yes, officer, no, officer, my way the hell out of that. I don't give a damn how disrespectful he is. Yes, officer, no, officer. Now, once I get out of this situation alive, oh, best to believe my lawyer gonna be on the phone with your precinct before you make it back to do the paperwork. But at that very moment it is not the time for me to exude my frustration with that officer. It isn't. The main objective when you get pulled over by the cops, make it home. Make it home to your kids. Make it home to the people that care most about you, to the people that mean most to you in your life. Make it home to them. Fuck trying to go viral. Fuck trying to, do some shit that'll get everybody else approval in the world. Do what makes sense to you, and that is the advice I give to everybody who asks me. I give that advice to my 12-year-old daughter to this day. Do what makes sense for you. Fuck what that person may think is cool. Fuck what this person wants you to do. Fuck what that person wants you to say. You do what makes sense for you. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to have to live with the decisions you make. And what I'm saying, I am not breaking no news. But in this world of trying to get validation from people who you don't have a clue of, we lose sight of that. And us as blacks, us as black people, we will switch on your ass in a heartbeat. We will switch on you in a heartbeat. And I just want to touch up on this last thing before I go to my next subject. For all my young athletes out there, for all the young dudes in the NBA right now, I want to tell y'all something. Be very, very careful listening to these ex-ball players that got these podcasts that's on these sports talk shows. Be very, very careful with that. Because with me paying attention to this, these dudes are deliberately giving you fucked up advice. Deliberately. These ex-ball players, not all of them, but a lot of them, they in competition with y'all. And y'all don't even know it. These dudes want the same girls you got. Y'all chasing the same women. They want the same deals that you got. They want the same attention and clout that you got. and they want the same money that you got. So they done made it make sense in their head. With you out of the way, it can clear up my path in trying to get that. You in my way. They done made it make sense in their head. You in my way. And I need you out the way for me to get to this bag quicker, for me to get to this broad quicker, for me to get to these deals. I need you out the way. So they done figured out a clever way of tricking you out of your spot by giving you fucked up advice, and they masquerade it as support. Yeah, Ja Morant, fuck that. Brandish that gun in the club. You ain't hurt nobody. Man, guns is legal in Memphis. Even though he was in Denver when he was in the club with the gun. Man, fuck that. It wasn't loaded. Fuck that. Do shit your way. Yeah, they trying to enslave you. They trying to treat you like a slave. Man, fuck that. Hey, Ja. All you got to do is sit back and look at a person for 5 minutes. For anybody, for anything. Anybody judging you, anybody have opinions on what you're doing. Just sit back and look at them for 5 minutes. Now, Ja, all these ex-ball players is giving you advice, and I'm talking about every last one of them, excluding no one. Anybody who has ever gave that man advice to keep doing that dumb shit he was doing, I'm talking to you. Ja, every last one of them dudes from on them podcasts, on them sports shows, on them TV networks, whatever. Anybody who was supporting that dumb shit you was doing and telling you to keep doing it, yeah, fuck the system. Fuck that. Keep doing you. They mad a young rich black dude is doing it his way. Fuck that. Every last one of them dudes was the same motherfuckers that David Stern had said, put them chains up, put them jerseys away, and throw them big ass jeans out. Y'all wearing suits to the game. All 82 of them. I don't give a fuck if you're hurt or not. If you show your ass up to this arena with your team, you better have a suit on. Now, you can try me if you want. You gonna have to deal with me. And you and I both know what come with that. And David Stern was so ill of an NBA owner. He was the head of the NBA. He was so ill. That last part I just said, he was so ill, he didn't even have to say that. They knew it already. He told that to every last one of them dudes who telling you to do things your way. And guess what them dudes did? Yo, is my tie straight? Is it straight? All right, cool. Where my dress socks? No, not the black ones. I want the turquoise ones with the red polka dots. Yeah, because the red polka dots gonna hit off the tie, right? Because when I sit down, I'm gonna be flooding a little bit. My socks gonna show. I want to show that I'm matching my socks with my tie. And they did that shit with a smile on their face. But see, them dudes back in the day, they had something y'all don't have today. That's common sense. That's common sense. People nowadays, they can watch 47 motherfuckers die jumping off this roof, and they think they gonna be the special ones to make it. They don't even respect facts here nowadays. See, they had common sense back in the day. Like, look, you can say what you want. I just got a $500,000 check in the mail. I want these shits to keep coming. So you mean the only thing I got to do, aside from playing the game that I love at a high level, the only thing I got to do is wear a suit? Man, I just got an $800,000 wire transfer to my account. I like how that feel. I don't want that to stop. You mean to tell me only thing I got to do is wear this suit from the hotel to the bus to the arena, and from the arena to the bus, and the bus back to the hotel. Oh, I only have to wear this shit for all of 2 hours. Why wouldn't I do it? Why wouldn't I do it? And then you got people out there who, man, y'all suckers. Man, ain't nobody controlling me. Ain't nobody controlling me. Ain't nobody telling me what to wear. Don't you got to be at work at 7 a.m. tomorrow? Didn't you just have to get off the phone with me the other day because you was getting off break? Didn't you get a first write-up for not having your uniform? What do you mean nobody will control? You're being controlled now. And the thing about your shit is, you don't even know who's controlling you. You just know them rules you got to follow. If you want that paycheck to keep coming. And get this. All of y'all not going to risk your $600, $700, $800 check a week to look cool for me. But you want these dudes to jeopardize millions of dollars to be cool in your eyes. Where in the fuck do that make sense at, people? So yeah, man, like nowadays, let's stop comparing white and blacks. Listen, for us black people, we know this shit. We know white people can get away with shit that black people can't get away with. We know this already. Let's take what we know and apply it to the way we maneuver out here in the world. I'm not a big whiner. I'm not a big complainer. Once I know something, I don't give a fuck how fair or not it is. Oh, we gonna see to it we gonna make something happen. If some shit is happening that I don't like, I'm gonna try to put myself in a position to be able to do something about it. Yes. When it was beknownst to me that, okay, this individual is going to use my kid as a weapon every time I don't do something she want me to do. She's going to, you can't see your kid today. Okay, I see you in court. I ain't know the first thing about court. I didn't know how to go about it. None of that. But guess what? We gonna learn together. But I see your ass in court. I'm not about to whine and try to talk you into doing the right thing. You know it's wrong while you doing it. You don't need me to tell you it's wrong to be like, you know what, you right, I'm tripping, come get you. No. You need to get burnt. Yeah, like you need to get burned by this fire. I'm going to help you ignite it. I ain't going to complain. I ain't going to bitch. And guess what? I don't want to give the energy off like as if I never complain. Yeah, I'll vent. But while I'm venting, I'm either putting together a play or already running that motherfucker to get you to stop doing whatever it is I don't like. And that's with anything. So as black people, please, y'all, let's stop playing victim. Let's stop playing victim. And in the case of Shedeur Sanders, ball out, bruh. Because listening to these black people, man, you got to understand, they supported Antonio Brown, too. Yeah, do it your way, AB. Yeah, man. Do it your way, man. Do it your way. Do it your way, my nigga. Yeah, they mad you young and you black and you rich. They mad. And now he around here wearing fake chains and watches. Now it's sad. Now he got CTE or may have it. Now he's stupid and dumb. But he wasn't stupid and dumb when he fucked up that $35 million bag because he didn't want to change his helmet. Oh no, he was revolutionary then. Wasn't nothing wrong with him when he did that. But now he's irrelevant. And his only claim to fame today is to hop on Twitter and say the most disrespectful shit he can possibly come up with. Oh, now it's sad. Now he's stupid. And guess what? those very same platforms that was once supporting them is the same ones calling them stupid. The same ones. So yeah, y'all, do what makes sense for you. And let's stop trying to be victims. That shit don't fit us well. We built different, or at least we supposed to be. We built to get through some shit. So let's exude that. Let's exude that confidence. And let's stop being victims out here, y'all. Because we smart motherfuckers. But we just got to apply that shit to our everyday life. Because Shedora Sanders, the only thing listening to these people did for you out here was cost you $40 million, bro. But the great thing about you so young, you could get that shit back 10 times over. By the time you do for a contract, they gonna be paying these quarterbacks $1 billion. They gonna be paying these quarterbacks $1 billion for 7 years. So you can make it up. Just learn from this, bro. That's it. It ain't the end of the world. It ain't even the beginning for you. It's the pregame. So ball out, my G. And no matter what I think, nigga, prove people like me wrong. Just because it's what I think don't make it right. Don't make it concrete. No, it's just what I think. I could be wrong. I just don't think I am. But you have the opportunity to predict your future. Just learn from this moment and keep working. You know. With that being said, you know, that's gonna do it for this week's episode. I did have one more subject. I seen this clip again right before I got on here. It was a young lady. She was being interviewed by I don't even know who the young woman is, but she said women can never be broke, only men. Women can never be broke, only men. Now, to her defense, she made it make sense. She did say women can throw on little to no clothes and go sell their body for however much they want. Men can't do that. They got a tougher way to get into a bag. And that's true. But just the mentality of that, just the mentality of it is concerning. And by the way, I touched up on this maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Remember when Jamal Woodlord when he was in hot water for saying he prefers to date outside of his race? He prefers to date anybody but, like he prefers to date white women over black. And I had I'm not going to second that. I don't care what color you is. If you're a dope person, you're a dope person. They come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. It don't matter to me. But this is the type of shit that help people like that think that. And remember, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I asked you, all this dumb shit that's being said, that's being recorded about men and women. Oh, men supposed to pay for this. Men supposed to do that. And remember, I told you, keep in mind of the race of women that is saying this shit. Can you guess what race that woman was who just said that? Women can't be broke. Only men can. I give you a week to think about it, because that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Elephant in the Room, episode number 20. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Like I told you at the beginning, it do not go unnoticed. And I will not ever take your support for granted. I appreciate that. Again, my latest project, Gold Tape, is out now across all DSPs, everywhere music is heard, everywhere music can be sold. Appreciate you guys, people. I will be back next week for another episode of Elephant in the Room. Until then, be safe, stay sucker free, and do what makes sense for you. God bless, people. Signing off.